Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. And before I start off this video, I just want to preface, like I said in the beginning, this is kind of a work in progress. And so there's been a lot going on medically, if I'm being honest. And so much has been going on each day that for me to try to categorize it and record it and just find the time and space just with everything going on. And I did get some feedback that people did like the storytelling format. So that's what this video is kind of going to talk about, like a summary of what went on last week, because what I thought was going to happen is definitely not what turned out to happen. And so I thought I would just share it, and there may be some, tips, maybe some things you might laugh at or enjoy hearing about, because I'm not trying to treat or diagnose anyone, as I have to preface in my video. So, that being said, I was initially very excited because I was going to be heading to Cleveland Clinic to do some pre op for a knee surgery and do also a few follow up. I try to group the appointments together so that I can just come to town for a few days instead of spending like a week out there. And I thought I could share this with everyone, like walk around the campus and show all the things that I love about Cleveland Clinic. Like, the campus is amazing. It's its own city. There are people there in red vests, like everywhere. And if you have a question about anything, they know where it is. And if they don't, they have walkie-talkies. It's just amazing customer service. The science, the doctors. I mean, I've been going there since 2009. Okay. That Get that part out there. From the start of my trip, things just kind of veered off path from the fact that I've been going there for so many years and I know the route and I know the timing. And yet I found myself literally running down hallways to try to get it to my appointment, the first one of the day, on time because I left that morning. And I had to learn how to be my own advocate. Like, it's really easy to give advice over things I've been through, but when you've been used to so many different doctor's appointments and you can time things and you have a way that you can talk to your doctors and their staff and you're comfortable with that, you forget what it's like to have a new doctor on your roster, let's say. I mean, I have 17 doctors just in the Chicagoland area. I have over 15 at Cleveland. Like, I have a good team. But when I go to a new specialist, that's where I get a little, maybe humility, um, and try to like learn something out of the experience. Let's put it that way, because I feel like I've been in so many different experiences with waiting rooms and doctors and tests and all that, that when something kind of throws me off, it's really hard to kind of regroup. So I'm running to the appointment, and the first appointment was with a retina and doctor. And when you see a retina specialist, they tell you, and just so you know, it's 2 to 4 hours. Plan on being there. Like, bring a snack, bring water, tell the person if they're driving you, like, bring some books. Like, it's a long appointment. And I knew that going into it, but I just wanted a second opinion. And they had the time slot before my pre-op appointment. So I thought, oh, this is perfect, timing. So I run in there and I forgot my glasses. That's another thing. When you go to a retina specialist, they're going to numb your eyes, they're going to dilate your eyes. That's what they do in my case. And so you can't necessarily put your contacts back in. So you do need your glasses if you normally wear contacts. That's been my experience. So I knew that going in there. So the nurse takes me back and she says, I'm going to dilate your eyes. And I was like, actually, I've only got about an hour and a half. I have to be across the building. So I just needed a second opinion. I just wanted to bounce some ideas off the doctor from something that my doctor had said and just see, if they agree. Second opinion thing. She says, oh, I understand. She's like, but I'm going to like take you back real quick for pics, and then the doctor's going to see you and we can have somebody from transport get you across the way. So you could definitely be out of here in an hour and a half. With such confidence, she says this. So she dilates my eyes. She brings me into this waiting room. And I was there for like 25 minutes. And then I went to the front and asked about timing, and they would get back to me. And the time kept going. And so I had to ask a second time. And the lady said, I'll just do it myself. And so she took me back and did the pictures. And I said, okay, I've got about 15, 20 minutes before I got to be across, the hallway. Like, can the doctor just tell me the results and I could tell her my question? Could I come back later today or tomorrow? But again, like, I'm here just to talk to the doctor, We'll get you in a room right quick. The doctor will be in. Okay, fine. The fellow comes in, not even the doctor. And the fellow wants to go over my history and, build a case, which I can appreciate. That is 100% what should happen and does happen, especially in the teaching hospitals. But I've got like 15 minutes to make it across. And I am not somebody who is late for appointments because I work in healthcare, and 15-minute windows are for a reason. It really can throw the doctor's schedule off for the day. So I try to be mindful of that on top of it. So he wants to do the exam. Okay, so as he's doing the exam, I'm getting a call from X-ray because I haven't checked in and it's 5 minutes before my appointment. And where am I? So I was like, I'll be right there. No problem. I'm getting out. So I grab my purse and go. And he goes, no, the doctor legitimately has to see you. And I said, I've got to be across. He goes, we'll have transport take you over there. You'll be within the 15-minute grace period. All right, I've already come this far. So doctor and I have a conversation. She leads me out to the front desk. They inform me that there is no transportation. They haven't requested a transport, which in a hospital of their size, if you're lucky, an hour, but usually 2. And the front desk can't leave because there's not enough of them at the front desk to help me down the hallway. And I come from a lot of stubborn people. So I decide I'm going to walk the hallway. So I just ask, in what direction do I need to start at? Because I am legally blind without my glasses. I qualify for the dog, the whole thing. Like, it's crazy. Another long story, but I'm going to get to that appointment. So she says, you start around that corner. All the hallways are white. There's no art. There's no bar. There's nothing. I just start feeling the wall because I also have no depth perception. Okay. I'm going down one hallway. I get halfway around the other. I've got people passing me on the side, which is fine. Whatever. And out of nowhere, somebody says, ma'am, are you blind? I was like, yes, I am. I am blind and I need to get to X-ray like 5 minutes ago. She goes, I know where that is. I can guide you there. Here, grab my arm. And it was just like, I felt so blessed. I felt like, thank you, God, because I needed an angel to get me to that appointment because I don't know how I would have gotten there, and definitely did not want to try to hurt myself while getting there. So I got to the X-ray appointment. From X-ray, they were able to get somebody to the pre-op appointment in knee surgery. And so I got there and the fellow comes in again, totally fine. I'm on time for the appointment, so they can take their time, work up their case. And he's going through the motions and explaining to me things on my X-ray and ideas that they have and solutions. And this is probably my 4th pre-op for knee surgery over the last 9 years. One was last year. So I could just kind of go through the motions to a certain degree. And then he wants to start explaining more intricate parts of the imaging. And I'm curious because I want to know more about specifically what kind of surgery and how they're going to do it. So I decide, you know what? I'm putting my contacts in. Again, just my experience. So I put the contacts in. I was able to see. Things went pretty smoothly after that. But during the appointment, he said that I would be a candidate for possible partial knee replacement. They wouldn't know until they get in there, but that's less downtime, which is fantastic. And then they said scheduling was going to be in spring, which was amazing because the last knee surgery, I was like on the docket for 11 months. So going in to last week, like I was hoping, like, could we do it this summer? And so they said the spring, and I was like, that's great. So the lady came in to bring the information in the bag and go over everything that they have as far as like handouts. And she said she just got a cancellation in that morning for 3 weeks. Would I be interested in getting it done in 3 weeks? Which my initial reaction was absolutely yes, let's do this as quickly as possible because my knee really hurts. So she gives me all of that information because obviously a few things have changed. We're not talking about 6 months from now. We're talking about 3 weeks from now. So there's things I need to stop doing or start doing and going through that motion. So she's giving me all that great information. And again, I've been on the road like for a long time that day. And after that earlier experience, like I just wanted to get to the hotel and call it a night. And I stay at the same one I primarily go to. A lot of times when you're visiting hospitals, it's a good idea to call the surrounding hotels and ask them if they offer the hospital like discount rate. It's really good. And so check in, and we get there and just had a couple speed bumps over the night. The next day, I had another appointment as a follow up, and I found out that they needed to do some more testing. And so I just needed, when I get home, to kind of like do some more labs. No big deal. And I'm on my way home about maybe like 4 hours into a 6 hour drive. And I get a call from one of my other doctors in Cleveland saying, how far away are you? The last time they did this was in 23. And I ended up being hospitalized in the ICU for a while. They put me on remdesivir. Like, it was a really, really tough go at it. And it lasted for quite a few weeks. So immediately my heart is like stopped on the side of, 80, 90. And she tells me that the numbers are quite skewed with the blood count for things that they got. And so I need to see some specialists. And I need to see those specialists before I even entertain the idea of surgery. 3 weeks. So I tell her that I'll coordinate it with my Chicago doctors, keep her in the loop. No problem, we're on it, Get home, unload. And again, I apologize because doing this whole story telling thing feels kind of weird to be talking about myself, I'll be honest. But I'm not sure how much to leave in and how much to keep out. So we're going to wing it. But I appreciate any feedback for people that either tell me to like tighten it up a little bit or they need a little bit more explanation on things. But the next day I saw another doctor and they told me that, they agreed that there were some more labs that needed to be done. And then I needed to see 3 new specialists, which 2 of them would be like brand new specialty doctors for me. So in my world, it takes quite a few months to get into a specialist of that specialty. And it's a lengthy process to even get the appointment. Like, you can't just call and say, I want to see this doctor. It doesn't matter what kind of insurance you have. They are so specialized that they review your entire medical history and they need diagnosis codes. They need referrals from multiple specialty doctors before they'll even accept your case. So if you're lucky, I mean, a couple weeks, okay? But being told that and being the person that I am, I just start going into the mode of, all right, let's get these tests done. Let's get these appointments made. And I just went at it last week. And I got one specialist almost within a week's time frame, which that was a big pat on the back. That was a big accomplishment. The other one I'm still working on, but I'm navigating that. But again, it left me with almost no time and energy to do these videos. And so trying to hold myself accountable and be consistent, that's where I'm kind of hoping this sort of format works, because this would be extremely helpful with all the road bumps that I see ahead. Because when it comes to my case of having surgery, I don't just get to go to a primary doctor and run some blood work, maybe do an EKG, and okay, you can have surgery. Like, I have a list that I have to go through and multiple appointments. And especially, granted, it's more difficult having doctors out of state, but in my case, with my rare disease, it really works out best. But I have to do a lot of navigating as well because I have to get people all the correct fax numbers, phone numbers. I need to coordinate to make sure that everybody got the labs that they need and the medical history that they need. So it is a part-time job. So even though, I don't get to work full time because of all my medical stuff, like being able to coordinate some of this stuff, like takes a lot of time and energy. And those who go through it or see people who go through it, that time and energy where, your phone is ringing and you're just trying to not miss a call because if you miss a doctor's call, who knows the next time you're going to get a chance to speak to that doctor. So anyway, I have an up and coming surgery in about 2 weeks now, and I have a few things I need to get off that checklist so that I can get approved for surgery. So I look forward to recording another video with some updates about what goes on and keeping our fingers crossed. I'm going to be able to get this knee surgery done finally, which would be just amazing for pain relief wise. I hope you guys enjoyed some aspects of this video. And if you have any comments, let me know. And I hope you have a great day.